going on YouTube? Salos, back with another video. Still sober today. So I've decided to try and change up my format here up on YouTube. Instead of just showing off like random records that aren't really connected together in my brain, I'm going to try and do more themed videos. I might do the old school type of video, but I think that the more themed videos, I feel like is a better format to me. If you guys are curious about what we are listening to, of course you guys know this, Dark Throne, Under the Funeral Moon. Fucking classic shit. Everybody fucking loves Dark Throne. So, today's video is gonna be about my musical journey into kind of black metal, but more folk or pagan influenced black metal. I know that the basis of black metal underneath the surface is folk music played with distortion and a lot of noise. But these are going to be bands that take the black metal formula and sort of mix in acoustic elements and traditional pagan music into the music and entwine the two. And where this music began for me, one of the first bands I was introduced to getting myself into black metal had to be Bathory. 1991, Twilight of the Gods. Probably an album next to Hammerheart that sort of solidified a new sound and a new direction for Bathory altogether. And a new direction for me. Because I started listening to the first 3 albums, and as soon as Blood, Fire, Death first hit my turntable, or whatever format I listened to it on, it just changed my world. I had to find more shit that sounded like that. And as soon as I hit these, I kind of found what I was looking for. So as you know, if you haven't listened to I don't want to use Viking, but the more pagan influenced heavy metal Bathory style albums, I feel like people are missing out. Black Mark, this comes with just a lyric sheet. And this was one of my first albums as well to have like the photo of nature on it. And I know it's kind of played out now, but in my early introduction into the bands, I always gravitated more towards the bands with sort of the more nature-inspired covers. And for black metal in general, I get the same feeling from black metal as I get of going up and hiking in the Rocky Mountains or going into the woods. For me, it's kind of like the same experience in a way. Black metal fans sort of know what I'm talking about. But as Bathory progressed, put out some okay, maybe shitty albums, a Corthon solo release, which I think is fine. It's not the best, it's not the worst. But he kind of, over time, it came back to a return of form, and he was going to release a trilogy, but he sadly died before that happened, and so he was only able to release 2 albums, and I am talking about the Nordlands, Nordland 1 and 2. And now just looking at this cover, if you guys have seen the last episode of Game of Thrones, that's kind of what this looks like. But this is one of the best Bathory albums. And Bathory overall, I consider to be my personal favorite band. For a long time now, I love so many bands that it's kind of hard just to pick one. But if I had to narrow it down to one band, it would be Bathory. Yeah, no doubt about it. So this came on a blue vinyl. But I urge you to listen to this later Bathory stuff if you haven't listened to it. I know a lot of the black metal fans that I have personally talked to only listen to the first three, and some of them even skip Blood, Fire, Death, and all the rest of them, but I fucking love this shit. Now moving on from Bathory. From Bathory, I got into Norwegian black metal. I got into such bands as Darkthrone, Mayhem, and of course the widely controversial Burzum. But one band that really stuck out to me that had the pagan elements very definite in the music. You can find the pagan elements within all black metal bands if you're really looking for it. But really on the surface, for some people it was Enslaved or it was Satyricon. But for me, this should be no surprise at all. It was Over with Bergtok, a fairy tale in 5 chapters. And this is like a continuation of, like I said, of the nature photos. And when I first got into collecting vinyl, one of the first albums that I ran to buy on this format was Over. And if you guys know, and if you guys were searching for this wasn't pressed on vinyl on like an actual, whole thing until 2016. The only way to get it was like in a picture disc box set, which I have. I'm saving that for another video. But I was really happy when I got this, especially because of this gatefold. I didn't realize that it was going to be like this, and this is just fucking spectacular. I love the blue shades of it. Just, you can't beat it. It also came with like a lyric sheet, but this side over here is pretty interesting. It talks about the recording sessions and how like the first guitar player left to join Jimmy Borger, and it just sort of has the history of the band and about this specific album all together. You got photos of the band right here. I love that fucking vest. Like a fucking pirate, man. Then on the back of the release, you got a waterfall. I was so happy to see this pressed, especially because Century Media, even though that I don't think that they put out too many good releases anymore, but a lot of their fucking represses are just so nice. Like I can say, this is nice. The Samel represses of Worship Him, like the box set version, is fucking awesome. The Hellhammer Demon and Trails that compiles all the Hellhammer demos, it's just spectacular. So Century Media really does a good job. And this is a band that has been widely recognized in recent years, but when I first got into this band, I felt like they were underappreciated. This is on a blue vinyl. Yeah, I'm not going to pull that out. But Over, first album, came out in 1995, I believe. And this repress is from 2016. Pretty inexpensive. They have like a black version, a clear version, and a blue version. The next album, Controversial Band, this came out in 1996 on No Colors and Oriana Productions. Not sure if I'm saying that right. This is Nocturnal Mortem with Lunar Poetry. Widely recognized band, especially in recent years. with a lot of their new releases getting like a wide praise from around the world. And even your average metalhead who's not into the more extreme black metal stuff can get into this stuff. This is their demo. And for my mind, this is the best Nocturnal Mortem release to this day. In my personal opinion. My humble opinion. Lots of people compare this to Emperor's in the Night Side Eclipse, but I prefer this a lot more than that. Not the hugest Emperor fan, but if I had to pick in between the two, I would definitely pick this one. So another nature cover. One of my favorite album covers of all time. Just beautiful. Nice moon up there. Got their old logo. And if you haven't listened to this early Nocturnal Mortem stuff, I urge you to check it out. So this is a gatefold. Nice moon right there. Scary picture. I forget this guy's name. Barak? I'm not quite sure. In the back, got another moon. So Oriana, no colors. And if I had to pick 2 tracks off of this, I would definitely pick the title track, Lunar Poetry, or Barbarian Dreams. And this is kind of symphonic, just in certain aspects of it, but some of the best parts are with like the flutes and the acoustic guitars. And actually, I'm not too big of a fan of keyboards, but this band can definitely pull it off. And in this gatefold too, their English isn't that great, but it has a little passage right here. I'll read part of it for you guys. This message is addressed to all people who really believe that Christianism have to be destroyed, who want to live without false and hypocrisy, who are eager to learn the eternity, who want to turn their souls to the belief of our Father God. Domination of the empty testament sucks. And it just goes on and on. It talks about fucking hippies and shit. And the guy, the vocalist Vorgoth, he says he does the screams, atmospheric noise, and ancient pagan poetry. So you can't get more black metal than that. This came in a white sleeve, but I keep it in a polyback. Just bare bones. A little thin. And of course, being a no colors release, it's kind of fucking flimsy. It's not as bad as some of the other ones I got, but it's still. This sucks. It seems a little bit difficult to get, but whatever format you can get it on, I would definitely recommend. But this is a winter album for me. As soon as the first bit of snowfall hits, I immediately pull this down. So, you might pay a pretty penny. Shit's fucking worth it. Controversial, but I don't think I'm going to go there in this video. Now, like I said before, I was on a journey to find a specific sound, that pagan music entwined within black metal. And I always thought it would be great if there was a band that only played that type of folk music. And eventually I found that band. This is Wardruna. This is a trilogy, just like the Bathory thing, but this trilogy has finally been completed, I think this year or last year. The trilogy is called A Sequence of Poems, but it is in Norwegian or Icelandic, I'm not sure. Put out by Indie Recordings in 2009. There's a lot of space in between these releases, but I understand why. This music just has a depth to it that I don't feel like a lot of bands do. Like, I'm gonna compare it to Fever Ray, but that music kind of has a depth to it. You know that these people put their fucking souls into these releases. And same thing with this. There's no black metal on this. And if you guys have watched the TV show Vikings, you might have known, but you might have listened to this band already if you watched that TV show. The majority of the soundtrack on that show is Wardruna. And the most notable person from this band that is in the black metal scene would be Gaul from Gorgoroth, many other projects, Godseed, and so on. And I just found out that he has his own clothing line, which is interesting if you want to. I urge you to check that out. Gaul has a very particular taste of clothes that he wants to produce. So I thought it was going to be like more metal stuff, but it's definitely not. It's like Scandinavian modeling music. Not music, modeling clothing. So the best song on this for me would be Hey Gaul, the back. This is music you can just sort of sit down and meditate with and just let the music absorb you. Just black vinyl. Next up, another controversial band from Finland. Why? Maybe like might be the most controversial band. Next to like Graveland. And I've been trying to decide whether I wanted to steer away from talking about NS bands or not. This band, or Black Goat, doesn't consider them to be an NS band in that they are not political, but that he is a warrior. But those are the words of Black Goat. This is Goat Moon. They put out a CD in 2013. They never pressed it on vinyl, but they did release a 7-inch with 2 songs. I can't pronounce the name of this. So you got Black Goat and Werewolf from Satanic Warmaster. And you can definitely hear that Werewolf contributed to this release. You can kind of hear it in the keyboards. But this is one of my most played 7-inches. I'll just flip this thing over and over and over again. And if you're a fan of Goat Moon and you don't have this, I urge you to get the CD, even though it's more of like a compilation. I urge you to get the CD or the 7-inch, especially if you're a collector like me. I'm not sure why 7-inches have such a stigma in the metal community. Because I really like the format. Maybe it's me coming from punk rock. And some of the most seminal releases were released on 7-inch, like Nervous Breakdown from Black Flag. I think Salad Days by Minor Threat was released on 7-inch or maybe a 10-inch, I forget. And a lot of the best Japanese hardcore releases, like Ghoul, all they released were flexi discs and 7-inches. So I think, being a metalhead, I feel extremely lucky to have so many full lengths to pull from certain bands. But I think the nuances of what you can get out of the 7-inch is still there. So this is banned from Discogs, so you might have a pain in the butt to get it. So, but this shouldn't be too inexpensive. But this might be some of my favorite Goat Moon songs. Aryan Beauty might be one of my favorite. Well, not one of them. It might be my favorite Goat Moon song. So I definitely had to have this. Another release, same band. I kind of wanted to talk about the continuation of that same specific sound going on today. So this is Goat Moon with Stella Borealis. Kind of a campy cover, but a lot of the Goat Moon stuff, including their photos and their album covers, are pretty campy. I really dig this picture of a black goat on the back. And this comes on nice blue vinyl. Lots of blue vinyls here today. I think only blue and black. Got labels, simple. There's a hidden track. Don't mind it. You could do without it, but whatever. If you're not into it, you can just not listen to it. But it's kind of cool that it's there. And this is one of the only 2017 releases that I have. And to just try and describe the impact of what this band has had on me, even separating their personal beliefs out of the equation. If you guys know my history, I had a history with substance abuse and other psychological issues. And when you're deep into addiction, you don't have money to buy releases. And for me to scrounge up $20 to buy this fucking record, for me it kind of shows my love for this band. And I didn't want to sort of touch on the controversy of this band, but there's a lot of people that I like their work, but my ideology is very far from theirs. You could look at Plato, the philosopher, and a lot of his great works that has impacted my philosophy in life. But separating that, he killed a lot of people, and he molested a lot of children, and all the other horrible things he did. Or even other historical figures like Alexander the Great sort of formed sort of the world. Maybe that was a bad example. Or ancient Greece. A lot of bad people, but they formed the basis of what a democracy is. It might have not been a democracy back when they lived, but we sort of took the formula and practiced what we preach. So just a couple other examples of how bad people, I'm not going to call Black Goat a bad person, but somebody you disagree with can have an influence on you or things that you like. And I just wanted to touch upon one more thing when it comes to Goat Moon, is in their earlier releases they were more punk based. There's still a lot of punk within this. Sort of black metal inspired by RAC punk mixed with those fun, folky elements, I guess. But like I said, how this has a punk influence, I definitely see similarities between a specific Finnish RAC, which is Rock Against Communism, band, Mystery, the Finnish band. And if you hear the melodies of that band and how their chord progression takes place, you'll see lots of similarities between Goat Moon and Mystery. If you have any interest at all in hearing that, I would tell you guys to check out Warcry with the song To Die For, and what is it called? The Flame of the North. And that one has like a Finnish flag and wolves on the cover. So, and Goat Moon has even covered a song by them on one of their maybe not less notable splits. I have that too. Yeah, fuck it, I'm not gonna grab it. But that was my video. If you guys don't like me showing this type of music, you guys can like, unsubscribe, dislike, subscribe. You guys can do whatever you want. I have a few more ideas of videos that I want to do. So, yeah. I'm just rambling now. I've probably just been rambling this whole video. But, hope you guys have a great day. And if not, fuck you.